You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Just met, and you haven't got me quite figured out yet. I guess I'll save you some time. I got more than just one side. These worn out boots and these scarred up knuckles are from too much fun and from too much trouble. I wouldn't blame you if you walked away, but I really hope you'll stay. Cause I got a wild side when I'm feeling just right. Hang on, cause it's gonna be a rough ride. Get the feelings that I just can't hide. When it comes out at the wrong time, I got a wild side, 10 feet tall and it's double wide. I get the feeling that you just might like to meet my wild side. Words, I put God and family first, but sometimes turning that other cheek, it's just too much for me. I know what you think you see when you're staring right through me. You might get a surprise, cause I've got another side. I got a wild side when I'm feeling just right. Hang on, cause it's gonna be a rough ride. Get the feelings that I just can't hide when it comes out at the wrong time. Cause I got a wild side, 10 feet tall and it's double wide. I get the feeling that you might like to meet my wild side. out blues, scarred up knuckles, are from too much fun and from too much trouble. I know we just met, and you haven't got me quite figured out yet. I guess I'll save you some time. I got more than just one side. These worn out boots and these scarred up knuckles are from too much fun and from too much trouble. I wouldn't blame you if you walked away, but I really hope you'll stay. Cause I got a wild side when I'm feeling just right. Hang on, cause it's gonna be a rough ride. Get the feelings that I just can't hide. When it comes out at the wrong time, I got a wild side, 10 feet tall and it's double wide. I get the feeling that you just might like to meet my wild side. I heard the preacher's words, I put God and family first, but sometimes turning that other cheek, it's just too much for me. I know what you think you see when you're staring right through me. You might get a surprise, cause I've got another side. I got a wild side when I'm feeling just right. Hang on, cause it's gonna be a rough ride. Get the feelings that I just can't hide. When it comes out at the wrong time, cause I got a wild side, 10 feet tall and it's double wide. I get the feeling that you might like to meet my wild side. Scarred up knuckles are from too much fun and from too much trouble.
"15 rounds down, 1 left to go as we get set to fight for the championship. But before we do that, we have to set the field of 16 that will fight for said championship. It is the Saguaro 200 here from the Phoenix Raceway in Avondale, Arizona. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Alongside me, my broadcast partner, Liam Irving. Liam, we saw a great race at Dover last week. Linus Broström collecting his first win of the season, locking himself into those playoffs. He would have been in on points either way, but still, this is a lot of people's last chance to try to sneak into those playoffs.
It absolutely is. We look at the bubble battle. Technically, a guy like Christian Delgado, who's 55 points up, he is not locked in, but doing pretty good on points. But a guy like Michael Iskandar, who's only 9 points up from Chris Van Maastricht, that's going to be a tough battle as we see those guys try to fight for points positions. And hey, if somebody like Jack Yagerman, Chris Smith, Rosa Laszlo wins, that whole bubble battle moves significantly. So we've got ourselves a major show in for us tonight, multiple storylines, and a lot of great drivers trying to get this done here tonight, get into the playoffs.
Absolutely, and if you watched the Moonshiners race at Martinsville this past week, you know that I am not good with math when it comes to especially adding up the stage breaks. So we'll try to. I've been studying up. I've been trying to do a little bit better for this week. Let's take a look at the point standings as qualifying gets underway here. Alexander Arildson, there he is. He will more likely than not be the regular season points champion. in that number 8 car. He is not here tonight. Tristan Bailey is a sub-driver for him in that number 8 car tonight. Angel Hernandez, coming off a very strong run at Dover, won the first 2 stages. He is in, of course, Linus Broström with the win. Marcus Hagman, Daniel Solo's in, Daniel Holmer, a lot of these guys up here. But again, as you mentioned, once you get towards Christian Delgado, Ria Ferris, Mike Iskander, Chris Van Maastricht, that's where you start to see this battle really play out here tonight.
You said you're maybe not the best mathematician. I find myself a little bit strong in that suit, so I'll do my best to add up these stage points as they go. But we'll definitely be relying on some of these graphics as they come our way. I tell you what, though, with it being this close, just 9 points separating the bubble battle, 10 points separating 16th from 15th, that is definitely something to consider if an outsider wins this race. That could also be the bubble battle. So we've got 9 points on one side, 10 on the other. That's 5 positions on track in a stage if you're in the top 10, or 5 positions on track anywhere towards the end of the race. So these guys have a lot to fight for through and through from start to finish. We're going to have ourselves a fantastic show as we look through the tail end of the point standings, some of the one-timers, some of the starting parkers, and now we watch this 5 machine get it done. Now we jump over to the discount tire machine and Jeff Weimer.
It's, breaking news. Sim Racing Media finally hires somebody that can actually do some sort of math. Thank you very much for that, Liam. As there's the
Don't
2.
get too cocky with it yet. But
There's the 2 of Jeff Weimer going third quickest. Speaking of that number 8 car, Tristan Bailey. Right now, again, as we mentioned, the sub-driver for Alex Arildson. That driver may have changed, but the car is doing just the same. P1 at the moment, 27.69 for Tristan Bailey up at the front.
Tristan taking 2 laps. He's got himself over half a tenth over Angel Hernandez. Right now we take a look at Michael Iskandar getting ready for his first lap. 4 laps allowed for these drivers. They get an extra chance to come in here, cool the tires in the pits, get out there for an extra lap. We're going to watch Michael Iskandar, one of the bubble drivers we talked about just a moment ago, see where he can place. We've got 16 drivers who have put down a lap with just 100 seconds left in qualifying. We've got a lot of guys who have not put down a lap. Some significant names such as Bob Wyckoff, Chris Van Maastricht, Casey Tomlinson. Van Maastricht, we said, it's just 9 points off the bubble. Now we look at Michael Iskandar. He completed his first lap. It was a 28.63, 3/10 off of the next car in front of him. But gets around Michael Gerby.
Iskander is, as mentioned, he is the last driver in as far as points are concerned. He's 9 points clear of Chris Van Maastricht, so a very good qualifying run here would suit him well. 16th quickest, and he will do pretty much an identical time on his second lap, so he will not move up. Matty Moniak. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's look. I said he's still fighting on his third, but yeah, Matty Moniak getting ready for his first lap.
On his first lap here, as goes right down to the bottom, and that was certainly a topic of discussion last night, and up onto the race.
Not going to work out for him. That's a huge hit to the inside and outside wall out of Matty Moniak. Iskandar trying for his final lap. He's improved a little bit to a 28.42, but that's not going to be good as he got loose coming up off the corner. Not going to be able to improve any more. 16th will likely be his starting spot here with just a couple seconds to go.
Yep, and spins it because may as well at this point as qualifying will come to a close. Tristan Bailey will sit on pole in that number 8 car, and while we wait for the grid to file in, let's take a look at the grid here for tonight's race. Tristan Bailey with a time of 27.692 will sit on the pole, beating out Marcus Hagman, by 1/1000th of a second in that number 5 car. Angel Hernandez and Joshua Grosso will make up row number 2. James Bowles and Jeff Weimer in row 3. Row 4 will see Daniel Holmer and Brian Chu, Cody McCorkle, Charles Robertson in row number 5. Row 6 goes to Chris Smith and Christian Delgado, with row 7 seeing Tony Edwards and William Britton. Franz Brettschneider and Michael Iskander in row 8. Michael Gervey and Rhea Ferris in row 9. From here on out, they start via their iRating. Jackson Carr and Joe Berge will make up row 10. Row 11 goes to Joey Maines and Eduardo Carapato. Chris Van Maastricht and Nathan Christensen will sit in row 12. Steven Sear and Matt Metler in row 13. Row 14 goes to Matty Moniak and Brian Treadwell, who's in subbing for Linus Broström today. Shane Griffin and Rosa Laszlo, row 15. Row 16 goes to Bob Wyckoff and Casey Tomlinson, another driver who could point his way in. And James Vining in the number 67 will make up the 33rd and final starting position here tonight. Weather conditions here for today's race. We are just about at 3 o'clock p.m. in sim time. 5-mile-an-hour winds blowing pretty much northeast, which means that would be a wind going towards turn 2, the old turn 4. 84-degree ambient temperature today, 93-degree track temperature, and even on this day, Liam, that's kind of hot for Avondale, Arizona right now.
It certainly is. A 93-degree track temperature is going to make these tires hot and slick. We know they've got a couple extra inches of grip over the Gen 6 car. We've talked about that multiple times. The contact patch slightly larger, but I tell you what, when these tires get greasy at a track like this, it's not going to be easy. And another thing that you talked about, Casey Tomlinson, in 32nd position. He's got a big battle in front of him. He's 32 points out of the playoffs right now. If he wants to point himself in, he's going to have a tough task in front of him to try to get up to the front. These stages are 60, 120, and then we run to the finish at lap 200. So if he's got 60 laps to try to get first stage points, that's going to be a really, really tough ask.
Yeah, but Casey Tomlinson coming into today's race, 32 points on the wrong side of the cut line. Of the drivers on the cut line that have a very good chance at making it on points, the main guy that you're going to be looking at here tonight is going to be the driver of the number 38. That is Chris Van Maastricht, coming in 9 points south of the cut line. He'll be starting 23rd here today, another driver that did not take qualifying.
And that driver is going to be hoping for a repeat winner here tonight. 9 points out. He's, I believe, 19 points away from Rhea Ferris. 33-car field, that's definitely manageable, but that is not an easy task to overcome. Look for Chris Van Maastricht to be aggressive early on to work through this field as we get ready here for the start. Pace car, I believe, is going to...
I believe we should get... Oh, no, we are not. We're going to go green here this
car.
time.
Pace car is going to make that hard left turn very early. This is one of the longest waits that we have from the pace car going into the pits to the start-finish line. And these drivers are absolutely through the roof with anticipation. But I tell you what, it is time to strap up that 5-point harness, wipe the visor. Grandma, we're racing for playoffs here. It's on. Look, race fans, it's show time. Green flag is in the air. Shout out to Tony for that call. 8-car makes a strong run getting down into... That's turn 1 now. That's not Alex Haraldson out front. That's Tristan Bailey. And Marcus Hagman looks down to the inside, coming up off of 2.
And Hagman with a very nice run coming through 1 and 2. The 45 down low with James Bowles in the 43 to the outside. And Hagman really blew turns 3 and 4. That time goes from second, now falling back. He may go as far as 6th here before he stops, hemorrhaging positions.
a significant amount of contact in terms of damage, but in terms of momentum lost, that is not what Marcus Hagman wanted to see. Started up front here. He's lost a couple of spots here on this initial start. These guys complete the second lap, riding on board with Marcus Hagman. You can see just how aggressive he is getting into this corner, trying to get up to James Bowles in the 43 in front of him. Not quite enough coming up off of the corner. He's got a different car to worry about. We've got car off the track, Matty Moniak.
Yep, that's Matt Moniak, the number 10. This must have been coming off of turn 2. Stage straight, no iRacing cautions here tonight. Just the admin cautions. Loose, loose, loose. Single car spin. Watch out, everybody behind. 7 looks like he may have caught the wall a little bit on the inside. Once again, Casey Tomlinson, one of those playoff drivers that we are looking at. You can see there's a little bit of a seam on that left front fender of the 7.
You hate to see that, especially for a guy that's got
somebody spinning in front.
Oh, big crash. There's 3 cars up in the wall. That's Brian Treadwell. Another car was involved. I believe that was Shane Griffin.
Yeah, there's Griffin in the 34, I should say.
Right front destroyed. You can see that wheel is not turning. It's going to be a hefty amount of damage to get repaired. That might be our first DNF on the day.
I see the dyslexia kicking in early here today. As we'll take a look. We saw it right at the bottom of the screen.
Fenders.
Take a little bit better. Yeah, he stripped the fender earlier on. He must have stripped something else too. Let's take a look and see just what happened here. There's Shane
So the
Griffin.
3 and 78 are racing up in front of him. That might be where the contact. Oh, the 3. Oh man, Treadwell.
Nowhere for the 43. There it is again. The 34 to go on that.
Where did Treadwell get out of shape? I'm curious to see.
We saw it happen earlier on in qualifying where the car caught the transition trying to come back up. Here it is. Oh, no. Yeah, he kind of gets half on and half off.
The apron. Saw with the 10 car in qualifying, getting on that transition, getting over it, really upsets the race car, and that's not like what we saw in the Truck Series race last night. Those guys were able to get down there, get over that transition like it's nobody's business. Seems like that's a struggle for these guys here today, so expect a lot of these guys to be on the alleged racing surface and maybe not try that dogleg chicane, or not chicane, but that dogleg cut like they did last night.
Marcus Hagman coming down pit road here, surrendering a top 5 spot, and we saw how well or how unwell he entered turn 1 last time around. As Tristan Bailey with Joshua Grosso behind him. Angel Hernandez, again, who's coming off of a fantastic run at Dover last week. Currently running in 3rd. Bowles and Weimer, your top 5. As Cody McCorkle, Daniel Homer, Charles Robertson, Christian Delgado, and Brian Chu tonight, rounding out the top 10 at the moment.
Chris Smith, Tony Edwards, Franz Bertschneider, Michael Iskandar, a bubble driver, and then Eduardo Carapato, rounding out your top 15. Canadian Nathan Christensen, Michael Derby, Rhea Ferris, Matt Medler, and Rosa Laszlo. Rounding out the top 20. We're getting ready for the leader to choose where he wants to go. I believe we're coming to 1 to green here. Lights go off on the pace car. The leader gets the chance to take a little bit of lane choice here. Looks like he's choosing the inside, Tristan Bailey is.
I think you're going to see that's going to be a common theme here most of the night. Drivers taking that inside line. Brian Treadwell, Shane Griffin, both still on pit road repairing damage to their cars. Jackson Carr, the driver of the 31, and James Vining in the number 67 have not started this race just yet, so only 31 drivers of the 33 anticipated have taken laps here today as we get set to get rolling once again here from Phoenix.
And Tristan Bailey going to be on the gun here. He's got the 54 of Joshua Grasso up to his outside. Earlier restart zone than we saw in the Truck Series last night. Right away in it goes the 8, and he's got a massive gap already. 3, 4, maybe 5 car lengths over the 54 of Grasso. And now the Grasso car has the 45 of Angel Hernandez looking down to the inside. Lining up the racetrack is the 45. He's going to have not too much of a run coming up off, Frank.
Yeah, he didn't wait, did he, on that restart, did Bailey? As we saw a car slow down at the bottom of turn 2. That appears that's the 3.
That's Treadwell.
Yep. So he coming back onto the racetrack with some damage, allowing the field to go. As Joshua Grosso right now holding on to that second position. Angel Hernandez is there as well. James Bowles holding on to 4th. Cody McCorkle looking to the outside of Weimer as that 43 of Bowles gets loose.
47 hard into the wall. Are we going to see a caution flag? The caution does come out. Yes, the 47 coming up off of turn number 2. I saw him get sideways. Not sure if there was contact that sent him into the outside wall or an overcorrection, but I guess we'll find out here in just a moment as the second caution of the day comes out early here on lap number 10 here in Avondale, Arizona at the Phoenix Raceway.
That was Tony Edwards, who is a series debutant here tonight.
We had a little bit of a conversation about him earlier, talking about what can we expect from somebody who's new to this series, especially with everything that's on the line. That's not the way that we wanted to see his debut go. Let's see what happens.
Certainly not how he wanted to see it go. His damage appears to be somewhat light. Just got sideways off at 2 and did it on his own. Ooh, Michael Iskander. That's not good.
No, for the bubble driver.
Yeah, that is
9
huge.
points ahead of the cut line. Michael Iskander with huge damage to the front.
Yeah, the front of that car is completely gone for Michael Iskander. And again, he was 9 points in. Was Iskander, and now him being a part of that, this is going to wreak havoc for the rest of his race.
Chris Van Maastricht, he's sitting in 24th place right now, still pretty far out of stage points, but he's got to be thinking that 9-point gap is a lot more manageable right now as Michael sits in 28th. Chris is in 24th. He's 4 spots ahead. Gets himself up to, I believe, 15th. That'll be the tie. 14th. He'll put him up in front. That's, of course, assuming Michael Iskander cannot finish the race. Doesn't gain any spots on attrition. So
yeah, he's
still got a long way to go.
He's only 4 or 5 points back still. So Van Maastricht not quite in yet, but Iskander's still on pit road repairing that damage, saying may as well take it now, take the hit now, and try to work it, take the rest of the race and try to work it back instead of, trying to fix it little by little during the race and hoping to stay on the lead lap. It's still early. Not too many cars are going to be going a lap down here. Maybe I could still work my way into this.
And the last thing that you want is to try to come out here, get the damage a little bit repaired, take a little bit less time on pit road, get the restart, and have us run out to the stage end. Because of that type of damage, potential engine damage to that car, you definitely want to give that crew as much time as possible to get everything right, or as right as it can be, so that you don't fall as much time. I tell you what, if you're running 45 laps, a couple hundred RPMs down, getting lapped, it is not a good feeling.
He's got one less car to contend with as Tony Edwards is done for the day. Here's Matty Moniak in the number 10. Iskander and Moniak are both off of the lead lap. They're both on the same lap, so the 1 and the 10 will be battling for the free pass spot as Tristan Bailey once again chooses that inside line and forces Joshua Grosso to the high line, as it'll be Angel Hernandez and Cody McCorkle lining up in row number 2. Pace car is off as they head down the back straightaway in this long pacing, more than half the racetrack, before we get back to green flag racing.
Yeah, I used to think Talladega was one of the longest waits of all time when that pace car takes that hard left turn. Phoenix has done something else. Get into the Geico restart zone. Is the 8 going to go as early as he did before? No, he waits a little bit, but still gets a strong restart. He's got 2 car lengths, not quite as strong as before. And Angel Hernandez in the 45 follows him right through on the inside. That's second place for the 45. Air Jordan J. Balvin Meal Machine. The 54 is relegated now to 3rd place. Grosso has Jeff Weimer trying to figure out a way around him as these guys they're actually getting pretty single file here. Actually, battle with Chris Delgado getting down to the inside of that Busch Light number 4 machine. Actually, sorry, that was Charles Robertson passing Christian Delgado in the 4 machine. Sideways moment there out of the 22 of Brett Schneider gets sideways coming through the dog leg. A little bit of a loose moment there getting into turns 1 and 2. Doesn't hit the 9. That type of looseness, I kind of thought he might have slid up into the 9, but didn't happen. Out the 21 looks out of the inside of friends Brett Schneider.
Does Chris Smith right now in that 11th position down on the bottom. William Britton in the number 6. Watch it. There's
Ollie car went wide up in front too.
Him getting into the middle. 42 of Joey Maines just behind him as Britton just does clear that 42, then slides up the racetrack. Closest battle on track right now, and it's just outside the top 10.
That 21 of Chris Smith, he's a driver who needs a win to get into the playoffs. With the 42 on his outside, Joey Maines, we'll see. Tell you what, he is not worried whatsoever.
Certainly is not. Take a look back up front here. Tristan Bailey with Angel Hernandez, Joshua Grosso, Jeff Weimer, and Cody McCorkle running line astern. It's quite the procession at the moment. However, these guys are certainly going to be just trying to get the feel for this racetrack here early on. It's hot. Sun is going to go down, so it will cool the track off a little bit as we get deeper into the race, just trying to see what they're going to need to do in order to change these cars up.
Now we're approaching a third of the way through the first stage. Frank, what kind of adjustments do you think these guys could make in terms of maybe driving style or even on pit road?
Well, it's going to be depends on how hard they're driving it, really, as Angel Hernandez all over the back of Tristan Bailey. These guys seem to be kind of smooth with it here at the moment. But other than that, I mean, a lot of it's going to have to do with driving style, as we'll jump on board here with Angel Hernandez.
Down to the inside, nothing there to gain. Coming up off of the corner, you can see the 8 gap him just a little bit. Entry looks better, though, on the 45.
Yeah, it certainly does. But you can see, watch going through 1 and 2 here. Just how, look at his hands. Such very slight, subtle movements, and then it's sawing back and forth, just quick, trying to stay as straight as possible. It's not an easy drive to get around here.
No, it really isn't. We're seeing a couple of different lines now as these guys have 20 or so laps on their tires. See that 45 sliding a little bit wide, looking for cleaner air around that 8 machine of Tristan Bailey. But I tell you what, Tristan is putting that car everywhere he needs to keep that car behind him, at least this early on.
Certainly. Take a look a little bit further back as the 16 of Carapato with the 6 of Britton. Ew, big dive from Joey Birch.
Oh,
He
and
made
got
it
a
stick.
spin with the 42. Joey Maines is in the wall.
That will not be a caution. It's up
Not
and out of
yet.
the groove. Joey Maines backwards, gets it rolling. We're going to stay green. Now he's on the... Oh, this could get a little dicey here.
Get going. We're good.
There's the field. Coming right through where he was and just does get it straightened out. So we will stay green. There's Maines in the 42. He'll go a lap down, but he'll... Good.
Admins maybe not liking what they saw early on, letting that get a chance to play out so that we didn't see a caution. Obviously, the 42 was able to drive away from the incident. Now he's right in front of the race leader.
Now jumping to the inside, trying to put a lap on Joey Maines, and will do successfully. See, we're so focused on the dive. What a dive by Joey Burgee in the 42.
Huge dive out of the 21 of Chris Smith.
Yeah, there was another big one in there. That one didn't end as well. So Chris Smith will chalk that up in the 21 as minor miscalculation. As this top trio now have broken away a little bit.
And just a bit. These guys have about a second over Jeff Weimer in fourth place. This top three is proving to be the class of the field early on in stage one. We're approaching halfway in this first stage, starting to see where these guys are sliding and where they're gaining on each other. 45 seems to have a really good corner entry. I'll tell you what, Jeff Weimer, last time around, he was quicker. Actually, no, he wasn't. The time before that, he was quicker. Now he's within a second and a half of the race lead and 0.8 of a second of Joshua Grosso in front of him. So this fourth and fifth place battle seems to be closing in on the race lead.
Yeah, Weimer now finally has some clean air. He's not tucked up behind those top three anymore, so he can show some pace. It's the first time, at least since I've been broadcasting this series, that I've seen Weimer. Quite impressive here. I know it's only been 30 laps, but right up here at the front, he's made a couple of passes, and now after the lap cars kind of broke up that train of the first 8 cars, starting to reel that top 3 back in. He's got Cody McCorkle in close company as well.
Last time around, Jeff Weimer quicker than all 3 drivers in front of him, just by a 100th over Tristan Bailey. We'll see what it looks like this time around. A little bit faster from the top 3 versus Jeff Weimer. Joshua Grosso is sitting all over the back bumper of Angel Hernandez, trying to figure out a way around her second.
You see,
a little bit off the bumper there, but
see the times there. Weimer, the lap times in red. Laps he was faster than the top 3. Lap times in green, the other way around. As Bailey, looking like he's starting to pull a little bit on Hernandez and Grosso, as now you're starting to see another feature of turns 1 and 2 here. Other than just being really flat, this outside line is going to start to pick up as the race goes on, and you're starting to see it here 31 laps into the run.
Start to see it as coming up off of turn number 4. The 45 machine tries that middle to top side. We'll see if he goes up there in turns 1 and 2. Gonna go about, oh no, he's gonna follow the tire tracks of Tristan Bailey in front of him. Seems to be working out for him so far. A little bit loose there coming up off of the corner. I tell you what, Angel Hernandez, he is not ready to give up second place. He feels he's got to fight for the race lead right now.
Certainly does. As saw there on the bottom, Shane Griffin, 16 minutes of pit road repairs have done that car some good, as there is the number 1 of Michael Iskander. Again, 9 points to the good coming in. And that's not a sight he wanted to see on lap 33 coming up in his mirror, as Iskander, a part of that last wreck that brought out the caution on lap 10. This has been a disaster start for this number 1.
It definitely has. He's got the 38 to race with right now, who is currently 38 on timing and scoring. Yeah, he's in 25th right now, so not much in terms of difference in points right now, but definitely going to be concerning to have that damage. He's still out here trying to gain some points on attrition if that ends up being the same or being the course of the race. Obviously a much slower machine in that number 1 Worldwide Express Camaro for Michael Iskander.
There is Iskander going a second lap down. So now he's 2 laps and 2 positions behind Van Maastricht. Unfortunately for Iskander, the laps down don't affect his points, at least directly. Take a look.
He's just got to try to stay where he's at up until this first stage break, rather in 25 laps.
Nice little battle here. This is just outside the top 10. 16 of Carapato, 5 of Hagman, 6 of Britton, 22 of Bergschneider, 11th on back. Closest fight so far here running.
We know Hagman didn't have the start that he wanted. He's sitting up here in 12th place. After starting up front in this big gaggle of cars, you know he wants to get through as quick as he possibly can. He's got the 42 of Joey Maines, a lapped machine with some damage in front of him. Currently racing that 16 of Eduardo Carapito. Gonna have that run up on the top side. Gets clear. Let's see if we can get around the lap machine and start focusing on Franz in front of him.
Here's Marcus Hagman getting through. Not quite clear just yet. Now they'll get clear of the 42. 6 of Britton with a nice little move. Looking to the inside. Another driver trying to work his way back up through the field. James Bowles did not have a good start either. Had a big wiggle just before that caution. Decided to come in. Now trying to recover back up to 14th for the 43.
Had an ideal start there for, a little bit of contact getting down into turns 1 and 2 between the 6 and the 43. James Bowles, William Britton racing hardcore position just outside of the top 10. But yeah, you mentioned a bit of a recovery here out of the 43. We saw him sideways with some damage, and he's been able to recover all right. Big time incidents in practice for that 43 machine. And
I said the key word there, though, in practice. That's where
where
you're allowed to have your biggest crashes. As up towards the front here, see a new front pair. That would be Tristan Bailey and Joshua Grosso. Angel Hernandez has been dispatched of, and we'll take a look and see how. Grosso in the 54 got past the 45. That was a big wiggle and a little clip of the inside wall by car number 45.
Big wiggle is an understatement. That was the save of the day so far. That 45 car only lost 1 spot after tagging the inside wall, and now he's got Jeff Weimer all over him. I know you said you haven't seen Weimer a lot, but that is a talented driver and a very strong team, that Penske Racing, that Penske Ford. I keep thinking Penske Dodge, but it's been a long time. So
it has been, but it's a very prominent memory, I'm sure. As that number 2 Ford trying to work his way back up to Angel Hernandez. And by the way, speaking of the manufacturer's duel, that is 5 Toyotas in the top 10, 4 in the top 6. So Toyota having a very strong run here today. Is this battle between Bergschneider, Hagman, and Britton, it has not stopped. As look at Hagman going to the bottom, looking to get around Franz Bergschneider for 12th. Brett Schneider.
Good run there for Hagman. We watched him try to chase out that 22 a couple of laps ago. Come back to see him make that pass happen. That puts him up to 12th place. slowly but surely, he's moving back up to where he qualified, where he feels he deserves to run in this race.
It is a fast number 5. Again, missed out on pole by just 1/1000th of a second. Did Marcus Hagman in the number 5. So we know he has the pace to be here as Tristan Bailey starting to catch the back of the field now with just 15 laps to go when we cross the line before the end of stage 1.
Not a whole heck of a lot of time left to make something happen. If you're Grosso, you're only a car length behind the race leader, Tristan Bailey, right now, and you've got some lap cars up in front of you could take advantage of. But it's easier said than done. You got to try to get out of the dirty air of all of these cars in front of you and take advantage of a potential slip-up from the race leader, who, by the way, has not made a mistake at all yet today.
Speaking of a mistake, there was a little bit of a lockup there from Chris Van Maastricht. Right in front of Van Maastricht, at least for the moment, is the number 12 of Rhea Ferris. She is 19 points to the good. And now both of them about to get put a lap down. So the driver's currently sitting 15th, 16th, and 17th in points, with the best chance to point their way in as Ferris dives in, pushes Tristan Bailey up to the outside. That allows Joshua Grosso to get into the fight. It also allows Angel Hernandez to get back into the fight. I'm sure Race Control won't be happy with that.
Not an ideal situation, but it seems to play out all right as Tristan Bailey is able to get a couple of car lengths of the car that's racing him, Joshua Grosso. Angel Hernandez much closer to this fight right now. He's been able to extend the gap on Jeff Weimer. Now these guys top 3 once again. Frank, it looks like the start of the race.
It certainly does, and now I can officially say it. Drivers coming in 15th, 16th, and 17th in points, all a lap down or more.
Wait, watch your bubble battle to go in the final race before the playoffs here in the iRacing Sunday Night Fever Cup Series here.
Weimer pushing up. This will allow Cody McCorkle to get through, and will also allow Charles Robertson to catch up, as Rhea now she's not on the lead lap anymore, starting to let these positions go a little bit easier. Track position, starting to let those go.
Yeah, just hoping that somebody like Matt Nettler or Chris Van Maastricht does the same, to fall back towards her, give the space to these lead lap cars out in front. They've got less than 10 laps to go to try to race for 10 stage points. Guy like Tristan Bailey, who we mentioned is subbing for Aronson, he doesn't really care a whole heck of a lot about that. He just wants to get out here and whoop everybody.
Rhea Ferris also may not be fully 100% mindset into this race. She's in the process of a big move that she told us about pre-race, moving from Maine back to Ohio. So congratulations to her on the move.
Moving always stinks, but to move halfway across the country, definitely a big task to overcome. So
try moving all the way across the country 3 different times.
I'm sorry to tell you, Frank, the furthest I've moved is 45 miles. That U-Haul was cheap.
My car was cheaper. As Marcus Hagman gets around James Bowles, he'll now set his sights on Daniel Holmer, but that might be a fool's errand, as there is the 9 of Holmer with 6 laps to go before the end of the stage and 5 seconds ahead of Marcus Hagman. So it looks as though the drivers who are in the top 5 of the top 10 are going to stay that way here until the end of the stage, as we see Brian Chu working his way around Jeff Weimer.
Yeah, and of course, Daniel Holmer, a driver who locked himself in on points before this race started. But driver like, say, Jerry Parker, Christian Delgado, Rhea Ferris, got to be hoping, maybe not so much Rhea, but Delgado and Parker Got to be hoping to get up here for some stage points. I'm not sure where Parker is at the moment. But Delgado is sitting in 7th place. I don't think he's here either. But
Yeah,
Delgado's up in 7th place. That's going to give him a couple of stage points here to extend that gap. That is exactly what he wants. Try to increase all of it. You take away the stage points that the guys behind you can gain. You gain a few. Actually, instead of us good at math, I think you get 3 points here. There's only 50 points available. None of his competitors are getting points. He's actually locked in.
Breaking news, Sim Racing Media still does not have a broadcaster that can do basic math.
I tell you what.
Charles Roberts.
Christian Delgado is locked in, and Jerry Parker is also locked in because nobody can gain enough points on them after stage number 1.
Oh, well, there you go. So after stage 1.
There's only 50 points available on the table.
Yep.
These guys are above the 50-point cut line. That is basic math, as Tristan Bailey continues to lead this race. He's got a sizable gap now, over a second over Grosso.
Joshua Grosso's fallen a second behind, not having the easiest time getting through the lap traffic either, as these field has lapped all the way up to 19th, as that's Steven Sear going a lap down in the 62. Angel Hernandez coming off of 2 stage wins at Dover. Going to finish 3rd here, it looks like, in this stage. 2.5 seconds back, as that was Charles Robertson. Nice little line of Gibbs cars here, and for my OCD, in numerical order, going the opposite way. Robertson 20, running in 4th. McCorkle 19, running in 5th. Chu 11, running in 6th. So a solid showing for the Toyotas here as they occupy 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Oh, it's Joshua Grosso's gone around.
On the entrance to pit lane, no caution, but that is a huge implication on this race right before the end of stage 1. Now he's going to take his pit stop, because why not?
Yeah, may as well. He spun right into pit entry, so might as well. As Tristan Bailey will come through 3 and 4. We'll show you what happened to the 2nd place runner in just a moment. But Tristan Bailey, from pillar to post, from pole all the way through, Tristan Bailey, stage 1 winner here at Phoenix. Waiting for the top 10 to come through now.
And with that stage completion, Jerry Parker, who was unable to show up tonight, he is locked in.
So Bailey has come down pit road. It looks like we're going to be doing the same thing that we did a couple of weeks ago.
Less than a mile,
yep.
No stage break.
Yep.
Points are still paid out.
Yeah, so no stage caution. So Tristan Bailey is your stage winner. Angel Hernandez will take over the race lead. He'll come in now, possibly in one piece. He had a big wiggle coming off the track. Here's what happened with Joshua Grosso. This is what knocks him out of stage points. Oh, just looks like he...
Oh, he must have been trying to pit. Late call to come into the pits before the stage was going to be over.
Yeah, that... Let's see. He might... Let me see. Let's listen here. Or let's not listen here. He's off of it.
I think he was trying to come in early. I think he realized he couldn't win the stage. Try to undercut him. Didn't quite work out. However, with the stage being complete, I can confirm Jerry Parker is locked in 13th place. Christian Delgado is locked in 14th place. Rhea Ferris, Michael Iskandar, Chris Van Maastricht, and anybody else who can win this race are now fighting for the bubble here after stage number 1 in Phoenix.
We'll hand the lead of the race over to Joey Burgee, and we will hand this over to the sponsors. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching the iSNF Cup Series. It is the Saguaro 200 from Phoenix Raceway, final race of the regular season. We'll be back in just a moment. Back here at Phoenix Raceway, lap number 74 of 200. Tristan Bailey back out in front after the pit cycle has completed. Stage 1 winner, subbing in for Alexander Arildson. Angel Hernandez running in second, 2.5 seconds back. Charles Robertson a further 4 seconds back, running in third. That is your top 3 right now as it stands.
Early on in this second stage here, we're racing to lap 120, racing lap number 75 right now, so 45 laps to go here in this stage. I tell you what, Charles Robertson, he's done himself a good job keeping himself up here. He's in third place right now, 6.5 seconds off the race lead. Everything's strung out right now. That 20 car doing absolutely everything he needs to put himself in position to win if something happens.
Up ahead of 2 Gibbs teammates. There you see those 2 Gibbs teammates. It's Cody McCorkle running in 4th. Brian Chu now running in 5th. As Gibbs team having a very, very good run. Here's the only driver on that Gibbs team that is not. Joshua Grosso is actually in pit road and has been ever since he had that spin. Just a lap before the stage was going to come to an end. Grosso was running second. He's now fallen back to 27th. Not the day that it looked as though he was going to have earlier on.
No, not at all. And a driver who's not really in contention to win themselves into the playoffs. Sucks to see that happen to him. But now we're going to ride on board with Ed Carapito as he looks down towards the inside of the 22 machine. Franz Brettschneider just in front of him. A little bit of wall contact. You might have heard the scrape. But these guys racing for a top 10 position. A little bit wider entry. Cuts down. Here's some slide potentially. Maybe see it, but maybe there's a little bit more rear brake bias on entry here for Ed. Now he looks, I thought he was going to look to the inside, but backs out of it.
It'll certainly help. That rear brake bias, as you mentioned, that will certainly help down in the turn 1 and 2 end with that flatter corner, help whip that back end around, try to help bring the car through that corner a little bit easier, not putting so much strain on the front tires.
Frank, you know me, I'm a big proponent of loose is fast, and that's what you're seeing out of the 16 car, that colleague racing machine. Runs up next to the wall. He's going to get very wide. Thought he was going to try to complete that pass up on the outside. Touches the wall there coming out of the dog leg. Now he's got a whole nother fight up in front of him as the 22 knows how to keep him behind.
And Carapato, I believe, is now a very big believer in the fact that if you brake enough for a corner, you'll be even faster as the caution's going to come out here. And that's not good. That is Chris Van Maastricht who has gone around.
Van Maastricht, one of these drivers who now needs to, well, he's almost in a win and you're in situation. He's 20 points off of the cut line after it moved up after Jerry Parker and Christian Delgado locked themselves in.
See what happened with that Maastricht. It looked like an incident that was happening in front of him. Oh, Angel Hernandez went around.
Oh my goodness.
And then, he caught.
Oh!
That was Robertson. Oh, more cars. That was Weimer that got into it as well. Boy, what in the world happened up here? Let's just start this whole transfaction over again. Around goes Angel Hernandez.
38 goes to a void.
Wipes out the 20. And then the 2 of Weimer had nowhere to go as he was battling with the 9.
Oh. This has been a phenomenal league to us. A great league. I know what they're trying to do with the lack of cautions here on the miles or less. Oh, the 3. Yeah, the hometown hero gets up into the wall.
Oh,
and actually tags the 45.
He was trying to get down and out of the way. Then we see like I said, here's the 20 getting wiped out. And then the 2 comes through, battling with the 9, and he has nowhere to go. Let's get on board.
Brandon Treadwell, we mentioned in the 3, won the last session's Phoenix race, and tough break for him. You know, I know this league, well, I phrased that wrong. Right?
Just had nothing there. We're on board there with Weimer getting through that. So now with pit stops, Tristan Bailey somehow has fallen down. Oh, he came into pit. Okay, that makes a lot of sense actually. Tristan Bailey goes to 5th. Cody McCorkle now inherits the race lead. Angel Hernandez, Brian Chu, Nathan Christensen ahead of Bailey in the top 5. Carapato, Bowles, Burgee, Hagman, Delgado, your top 10. Weimer down pit road, coming out of pit road now. William Britton came down pit road. There's the 38 of Van Maastricht. Coming out with damage repair. Michael Iskander still trying to fix that car. Charles Robertson had his great run today soured. Just does stay on the lead lap, as it would appear, as though McCorkle has chosen the inside lane he has.
McCorkle down on the inside lane. Not sure how Angel Hernandez is. Maybe he stayed out here. Technically, it wasn't the reason for the caution, but he's going to restart up on the outside. It'll be interesting to see how those spun tires do. Pace car makes that hard left turn, and we get ready for the longest wait in the NASCAR Cup Series before the green flag. Everybody in the back who got some damage repairs is going to try to get towards the back of the field, but it's all down to Cody McCorkle. Chose the inside. Angel Hernandez to his outside. The 11 of Brian Chu, ready right behind that number 19 machine into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. The 19 gets a strong restart. 45 not so strong. It's side by side for second place as they move down into turn number 1. 3 wide.
Tristan Bailey.
Into the wall goes the race leader, McCorkle. Big time smack to the wall in the center of the corner. He's able to get
around goes the
momentum
5
up.
in the back. Hagman's around in the back, as is the 71, I believe, the 77 of Laszlo.
No caution yet.
78 of Wyckoff, pardon me.
And no caution yet. Bob Wyckoff able to keep moving forward, and it also looks like the 19 is able to keep moving forward after that wall contact. The next time, you see that O'Reilly logo right there with the scrapes up on it. That was all from the 19 who got up into the wall on the restart. Now look down to the inside. Here comes Tristan Bailey. Made the pit stop, looking for the bottom of 3 as the top side goes to Angel Hernandez. Angel looks down to the middle.
20 lap fresher tires, so this might be a fool's errand to try to block him off as McCorkle goes way wide again through 3 and 4. Tristan Bailey on fresh tires has gotten out to the race lead as Angel Hernandez looks to that outside. Let's go back and take a look at the entirety of that restart again here. We'll see McCorkle gets the good start. Solid, fine start for him.
Everybody's scared of that transition.
Yeah.
Right into the O'Reilly side.
That is interesting. He put it right where the wall scrape usually is, and then there's the 5. 78 also got up into the 42. The 20 almost goes around as well.
Well, technically nobody spun. iRacing wouldn't have even thrown that caution.
I don't know about that. right at the pit entry. I don't know. As Joey Burgee
looks down to the inside of McCorkle. Got himself the inside lane, getting down into turn number 1. They're side by side just behind him. You see the 43 of James Bowles taking advantage. Oh, a little bit, maybe too much advantage there of the 45. He dove it in on the top side. Got big time sideways. Now he's got the momentum. Get around that 45, Angel Hernandez. Put James Bowles up into 4th. Maybe not for long. Angel coming right back. And the 19, McCorkle, slow up in front of the 43.
And Joey Burgee right now in that 48. He is on fresh tires just the same as Tristan Bailey is. So that's why he has an explosion of pace as Cody McCorkle. Yeah, Bowles and Hernandez really going at it here. This is for 4th between these two.
Now, iRacing is, we obviously know it's not a perfect situation. It is so easy to get up into somebody and netcode them. Yep. To be able to see these guys get so close and actually touch doors, it goes to show how good these guys are, how much trust they have in each other, but also how good this service is.
Absolutely. As there goes the 4 of Christian Delgado, taking a little bit of a peek down to the inside of Franz Bretschneider. As Bretschneider now looks to the inside of Brian Chu in the 11.
And obviously Christian Delgado, we mentioned, is locked in. The worst he can finish, going to be 30th, which is awarding more than 1 point. All he needed was 1 point after the first stage. You see the 1 car, Michael Escobar, in slow 11 and 22 make a little contact, and McCorkle is now under fire once again from this 45 machine.
Yeah, McCorkle got a big
time gaggle. The check up from the 4 just behind these guys is checked up the 16 as well, and now here comes the 6 looking towards the middle. That's William Britton trying to take advantage of the 3 wide situation.
Yep, Weimer's at the back of this as well. There was a big dive that James Bowles made on the 19 that pushed McCorkle out wide. As Bretschneider and Chu go side by side going through the dog leg into turn 1. This is a battle for 6th between these two. This will be the highest up that Bretschneider has been here today, and he will collect that position in the number 22.
You see the 4 of Christian Delgado trying to take advantage of Brian Chu up on the top side. Gets that job done. Chu under fire from William Britton. If he stays up there with the way that car is looking right now, it might be tough to hold on to a top 10 spot if he's going to get freight trained. Gets down to the bottom, though, right in front of Weimer.
Getting really close to that number 6 as well, coming out of turn 4. As, Cody McCorkle has a big wiggle going down the back straightaway, may have touched the wall, or at the very least got loose coming out of turn 2. That'll move Bretschneider up. Delgado to the inside.
Took advantage of that slip up there, and now he's trying to take it, going into turns 1 and 2. We'll see if it's enough. That 19 slides way wide. It's going to be enough. That's clear for the 4 of Delgado.
It's been fantastic racing up here as we'll take a look a little bit further up through the field. Tristan Bailey had gotten out front to about a 1.3 second lead by the time Joey Burgee got into second on the fresh tires. Burgee's pulled it back. That's the gap between the race lead. Now these two are quite literally in a world of their own. Take a look at the car numbers on the track map. See the 8, you see the 48 going right down there at the very bottom, going through the dog leg. They're 5 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, and the battle that we've been watching with James Bowles, Hernandez, Bretschneider, Delgado, they are in a class of their own, and it's because of those fresh tires.
And it doesn't look like Joey's a guy who can win his way in here. So he's just out here for pride and the trophy. We watch this battle here with the 43. Sorry there. James Bowles trying to hold off Angel Hernandez. Hernandez going way wide coming up off the corner.
There you see the last pit stop lap between the drivers in the top 5. 82 for first, second, and fifth. Bowles and Hernandez currently occupying third and fourth. Last came down on lap 62.
Here comes Hernandez to the top side. Big run towards the exit of the corner. Not sure if he had to let out of the throttle or if the car just didn't handle right. But it looked like he wanted the top side coming up off of turn number 4. Now he dives down to the inside of the 43. We've got ourselves a race for third place coming up off of turn 2.
And it's incredibly impressive what these guys have been able to do on these older tires.
Here's a big
Brett Schneider.
Brett Schneider. Here comes Delgado back down to the inside. Doesn't quite go for it. He doesn't want to hit that apron.
Delgado trying to push that 22 on through, try to help himself in the process as Brett Schneider. We've noticed that out of Brett Schneider here in this race. He has been very, very low coming off of turn 2, but that's going to help him set this move up as Brett Schneider gets into the door of the 45.
Big time moment there on the 22. He's able to keep it straight, but he's got Delgado looking up at the top side now going into turn number 1. Here comes Christian Delgado. Almost a little bit of contact through the middle of the corner. These guys are door to door, not giving an inch.
They were about as close as you can get without touching. As, the 4 makes a little bit of room for himself.
You saw what I saw. It looked like that 22 might have bitten off more than he could chew, getting down into turns 3 and 4. Obviously was able to keep it up off of the 4, but these drivers, we've got 6 of them under a blanket, all racing for position, starting with Christian Delgado, Angel Hernandez just in front of these guys. Christian Delgado, Brett Schneider, Jeff Weimer, William Britton, and Daniel Ulmer all up in this battle. This is effectively a battle for a top 4 position, but we've got 6 drivers in here. I tell you what, this battle for 4th goes all the way back to 10th place, and this is what I live for, Frank.
Yeah, it really has been fantastic as Weimer getting back up into this mix. Weimer, another guy that came into pit under the last caution on lap 83. But Weimer working his way back up. He was one of those guys who really fell off the pace on the older tires at the end of the first stage, starting to really combat that and come back up through the field, try to get some more stage points as Daniel Ulmer works his way up into the 7th spot. We're about 13 laps to go when we hit the line here in this second stage.
Things definitely starting to heat up in terms of where you're going to finish. The points maybe don't matter as much for some of these guys, but of course, you're a driver like Michael Iskandar, Rhea Ferris, you're hoping that some of these drivers that you're racing against don't get any stage points. That way you've got yourself a better shot to make it into the playoff.
Yeah, unless we see a new winner here tonight, it's looking with the way everything's going, whoever was in coming into this race is going to stay in. Right now, Casey Tomlinson, who was looking at it 32 points out, he's running in 18th position. 1 lap down, a couple of laps down. Rhea Ferris, there you see her. She's just gone another lap down. She's now 3 down, running in 19th. Chris Van Maastricht, who was 9 points out, is running in 20th. And Michael Iskander, who is 9 points in, is about to go 7 laps down to the race leader. He's running in 22nd. None of them got stage points in the first stage. They're not going to get stage points here. So it's looking more and more like if you were in when this day started, you're going to stay in.
I think the battle to look at is Chris Van Maastricht. If he can finish 10 spots in front of Michael Iskandar, he will overtake him in the points. But it's going to be tough to make that happen, especially with where he's running here in the 20th position, a lap down, or multiple laps down rather. Gonna be tough to get in those spots without some attrition.
Yeah, Van Maastricht right now is 3 laps down off the race lead. The good news for Van Maastricht is that if he does end up getting back on the lead lap, Iskander's 7 down. So he's got 4 laps. He's 4 laps to the good on him. However, that's a tough road to hoe to get 3 laps around here. We've only had 3 cautions in 112 laps. It's not a guarantee that you're going to get those 3 laps back.
Of course, with this being a mile-long track, no stage breaks. We do the stage points, but we do not take the break. We are waiting for all natural cautions here. The admins are keeping a heavy eye on it to make sure that that's laid out correctly. Look at Christian Delgado. Jeff Weimer looking down the inside.
Battle for 6th here with the 22 of Brett Schneider. Cody McCorkle coming down pit road. Now, McCorkle, you're saying, well, why is he pitting so short, just short of the stage break? Again, he's one of those guys that came in on lap 62. Same thing with James Bowles. Same thing with Hernandez as they get into each other through 1 and 2. Bowles collects the 9, staying green.
Yet. Daniel Homer caught up in that as well. Still no caution. James Bowles going to get out onto the racetrack. We'll see what Daniel Homer does. Daniel Homer comes into the pits.
Homer was right in. Yeah, Homer was right in pit entry. Kind of the same deal as the 45, who, by the way, is still sitting on pit road. He is done for the race. Well, that was a handy bit of timing right there. So let's take a look and see once again what happened. Well, this is between Homer and Bowles. This comes in a little bit later. Here's the contact with the 43. Comes down. 9 just with nowhere to go. 45 goes on. Right, off the racing line, they're down at the bottom. There's plenty of room to maneuver around this racetrack. I mean, if you have the admin cautions to keep this race green, that right there was a perfect example of it. They could have gotten away, they did. Good call not going yellow.
Christian Delgado all over the back bumper of Jeff Weimer. We've been thinking about this battle for quite some time, but Delgado not quite able to get enough momentum to set up the pass. We'll see if that changes as these guys get up towards traffic. As see France getting involved with Michael Iskandar there. The lap car, multiple laps down. Well, Frank, we're getting into a spot where you don't have much time to make this pit stop. I believe if it's NASCAR rules, pit road will be closed this time around. So
Eduardo Carapato did come down pit road in the 16. He gave up a couple of stage points. Did that car, so Carapato is in. Lisbon, Portugal native, making his 14th start here in the iSNF Cup Series. And just 2 laps to go, really just about 1 at this point, until the end of the stage.
What a job this number 8 car has put in. Tristan Bailey doing a sub roll, absolutely put the pedal to the metal and done everything plus what these guys expected from him.
So coming off of turn 2, Tristan Bailey won the first stage by leading every single lap. Didn't quite have it as easy this time around, but with a pretty nice advantage, Tristan Bailey wins stage number 2 in just his second start and will go for the sweep come the end of the next 80 laps. Pit cycle will begin here momentarily. You'll see it under brake as we will pause here. You are watching the iSNF Cup Series, the Saguaro 200 from Phoenix Raceway on Sim Racing Media. iSNF Cup Series, the Saguaro 200 here at Phoenix Raceway. Tristan Bailey out in front in the race lead, has won both of the stages, has led the most laps here in this race. Joey Burgee came into pit on lap 82. He has climbed up, has gotten himself into the second position, has fallen off of Bailey a little bit. And because of the fighting with the cars on older tires, Jeff Weimer right now finds himself in third, 15 seconds off the race lead. Just got past his teammate Franz Bergschneider for the third spot.
I tell you what, if you're anybody but the top two, you're hoping for a caution. But these top two, Joey Burgee, Tristan Bailey, I believe Joey Burgee might have just taken the lead. Nope, no, my scoring's messing up. But, we'll watch on Jeff Weimer here as he's got Franz trying to chase him down. The last time around, Franz was a little bit slower.
Yeah, Bergschneider had just got passed by Weimer not that long ago. So you see the 43, that is Bowles. He just came out of pit road. Bowles right now in the 16th position in that number 43, making start number 60. He's been a top 5 runner here for most of this race, has the 43. And getting a fresh set of shoes, trying to make up some of the ground that he lost on the 20-lap older tires, as that's Tomlinson, Casey Tomlinson, having a little bit of a moment there in front of the two.
Goes wide on the entry into 3 and 4, gets out of the way of the cars around it, but something not handling right on the 7 of Casey Tomlinson. Not a good situation here. He was one of the drivers that we talked about trying to point his way in. Now he's into the position of needing a win to get in, and it is not looking good for 17th place Casey Tomlinson.
Unfortunately not, as battle for 5th getting set to go. Car number 5 in position number 5. Car number 6 in position number 6. Marcus Hagman, William Britton. These two right now, the closest battle on track for position on the lead lap. So another battle is there's the 22. That's Brettschneider coming in. This is another battle here. This is for the 12th position. This is Carapato in the 16 and Wyckoff in the 78. Those two just swapping the 12th position right there.
Well, you saw the 22 come into the pits. Obviously a big margin from the front guys, but trying the undercut right now. He was racing with Jeff Weimer, his teammate there at Penske Racing. Trying the undercut. We'll see if that brings anybody else into the pits, Frank.
We'll see. Again, a 15-second gap, though, that's quite a gap to try to overcome on just a short I've lost it. Continue. I'll be over here if you need me.
It's all right. It's going to be tough. You know, these guys are coming in for the money stop. And obviously, you want to get in and out as quick as possible. But without these stage breaks, these drivers have really been able to put their strategy to the test. A guy like Tristan Bailey, we saw him get a little bit further back throughout the course of a caution flag. He's sitting in the race lead. Marcus Hagman, he's coming into the pits right now. Going to try to take 4 tires. Get a little bit of an undercut on your race leader, Tristan Bailey. But like Frank mentioned, when the top two have almost 15 seconds on the rest of the field, Jeff Weimer in third place is 14.5 off of the race lead. The undercut's not going to be that much of a factor. If you're outside of this top two, you're hoping for a caution. If you're inside of this top two, you're hoping for the cleanest race you've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that train of thought left the station, unfortunately left me behind, as Joey Burgee, over these last couple of laps with Tristan Bailey getting caught up in traffic, he's starting to work his way back up towards Tristan Bailey. These two were very close together at one point after the run had began. But we'll take a look here on our Delta chart there. That gap has slowly started to come down, going the other way. Burgie's starting to gain the advantage as the 8 works through traffic.
Just a little bit. These guys both came in on the same lap, number 82. Both still have another pit stop
coming
to go,
in.
and Burgie is coming in. He's trying the undercut here.
Yeah,
Comes in on lap 138, coming to 139 out of 200. That might be the call of the race. But tell you what, we got a long way to go, Frank.
Yeah, that's a pit stop that will garner some attention as here comes Jeff Weimer down pit road from third. Tristan Bailey, does he respond? No, he does not. Which is very interesting because you're looking at tire fall off here. Tristan Bailey's fastest lap at 27.79. Compare that to his last lap coming across the line. Now he's in clean air. Did a 29.35, so a second and a half slower. Surprised as now it looks like he's coming in. Race leader in. Tristan Bailey in. William Britton coming in. That's from second. Christian Delgado coming in from third. So this right now will hand the lead of the race, at least for the moment, off to the 11 of Brian Chu. And with just under 60 laps to go, watch out. Boy, they somehow kept that straight. Bowles recovers. I mean, there wasn't much there. Van Maastricht was up about as high as he could go. 43 coming up off the corner, the 11 coming down. I mean, there really wasn't much either one of them could do, as we'll take a look. Once again, there's the contact between the two. So let's try this once again here. There's the contact. The 43 at that point is just trying to stay off of the 38. So Brian Chu passed up in that by Angel Hernandez. So Hernandez now your race leader. Hernandez came in on lap 122. So he has already come in. Joey Burgie right now currently sits second. Tristan Bailey, who had about a 1 second lead on Burgie going into the pits because he stayed out an extra couple of laps, is now 2 seconds behind Burgie and 4 seconds off the race lead.
We're just now seeing what a difference 2 laps on fresh tires can make. The gap between Burgie and Tristan Bailey sitting just about 2.5 seconds right now. Joey Burgie trying to chase down Angel Hernandez. He has gotten right to the back bumper, looks down to the inside. Lot fresher tires here, about 17 laps fresher tires here for the 48. Looks down to the inside. He's got to run. He's got the grip coming down the back straightaway. They are door to door, but the 45 has the advantage. We'll see if he can hold on through turns 3 and 4. Not quite able to, as the 48 noses out front just by a skosh at the line.
Yeah, he had the advantage of the run and the outside line, but he does not have the grip advantage. And that is what Joey Burgie exploits. As there you see, that's the times not to Hernandez, but that's the times to Tristan Bailey. As now this is really a time where Burgee needs to run away, because as you can see, he's losing a couple tenths a lap. But now that he is sprung free, we'll see what he can put down here. Nope, still about a tenth. Oh, still about a tenth faster, actually. I'm sorry,
big
he's been
time
quicker
loose moment
than
there,
Bailey.
getting into turns. Sorry, Frank.
You're good.
Saw a big moment there, a big wiggle out of the 48, getting into turns 1 and 2 right there. A good save, but that car, tell you what, it's either the driver pushing it as hard as it can go, or maybe the car isn't handling as well as they want it to. Leaning towards the driver as that 38 almost leaned on Brian Chu in the 11.
Yeah, that's Chris Van Maastricht there in the 38. He has not had a good day. And again, Van Maastricht coming in 9 points south of the cut line. Currently running in 19th position, multiple laps down. Rhea Ferris, 19 points to the good. Currently running in the 18th position, multiple laps down. So she should be good to go. And then Michael Iskander running in the 22nd position. He came in 9 points to the good. Currently sitting more laps down than the other two. Currently 8 laps down right now. But still looks...
If we're going to see any changes at the bubble battle, Chris Van Maastricht has to be able to gain 10 points on somebody. That is not in the cards right now, as he sits in 19th place. His contenders are a little bit further behind him, but as he sits multiple laps down to the race lead, it's going to be tough to overcome those positions and get those crucial points as we approach. As we just took 50 to go, now we've got 49 laps to go here at Phoenix.
And Van Maastricht is 4 laps down right now, so if he wants to gain 10 spots on Iskander, he's not only going to have to get those extra positions, he's also going to have to get 4 laps. But before he can get those 4 laps back, he's going to have to wait for about 7 or 8 other people to get their laps back first. So it's a very tough road to hoe right now for the number 38. As Jeff
I was going to say it sure is, unless he races his way up.
So, Brett Schneider and Weimer continue their battle.
Once again, we've got ourselves a gaggle of about 6 cars. You see a little bit of contact there at a homer just in front. Trying to get around the lap car. Going to slow these guys down just a bit.
And that's a 15 of Christensen there. Just trying to get around, and does.
A little bit of contact between the 62 and the 15 there is now Joey Maines trying to get through this gaggle of cars. And of course, we've got Brett Schneider in the 22 on the lead lap, racing for position, trying to get around this group of lappers up in front of them. They're all racing here hard. Going to be tough. Move there coming out of the 15 off of turn number 2, and now Maines gets down in there, or rather Brett Schneider.
Yeah, Brett Schneider, he's been very affluent in that dive bomb going into turn 3. Wouldn't necessarily call it a dive bomb. It's not like he's going in late, but Brett Schneider certainly affluent in that move today. He's made most of his passes there in that same way. A little bit of net code contact between himself and the 15. Here he goes looking for it again, this time on the 42.
Joey Maines down a lap. You see the 3 of Treadwell up on the top side, involved in some earlier contact. He's very slow off the pace. Now you see the 22 trying to get around the 42 of Maines. Maines another lap down car, along with the 62 just in front of these drivers. That's going to be Steven Sear. 22, Brett Schneider trying to chase down Daniel Homer, just a couple of cars in front of him. Sitting behind these lap cars, it's got to be frustrating when that number 22 Angel Hernandez.
What a difference a week makes for that number 3 car. Again, it's a different driver. Brian Treadwell is in the car this week, subbing for Linus Broström. But 45 laps down right now, running in the 25th spot after it was in victory lane last week at Dover. Looking through the rest of the field, Tony Edwards made it 10 laps here tonight. Matt Moniak made it 20. Joshua Grosso made it 62. Matt Medler 77. Michael Gervey 78. Charles Robertson 89. All those drivers done for the day. Jackson Carr, James Vining did not start this race in 32nd and 33rd. So of the 31 drivers we had at the start of this race, 25 still remain, and this is your closest battle on track right now between Brett Schneider and Weimer.
Yeah, Brett Schneider has been trying to get around the 42 of Joey Maines, has been unsuccessful, and that has allowed his teammate, Jeff Weimer, to get closer and closer through this dirty air. You can see Homer and Cody McCorkle just at the front of this train. They're not too far in front of the 2 and the 22, but I tell you what, the 22 of Brett Schneider is giving him everything he's got and is unable to get around it. Jeff Weimer trying to take advantage of whatever hole he can get. You see Cody McCorkle leading this train, getting a little bit more spread out up front.
And part of the reason why is because McCorkle and Homer, these guys last came into pit back on lap 113 and 114. Compare that to Brett Schneider and Weimer, who came in on 133 and 139. So they are dealing with quite a tire disadvantage on the 19 and the 9 as compared to the 2 and the 22, as Brian Chu comes into pit road, surrendering the 4th spot.
Interesting call there with just under 40 laps to go. Not sure if he's anticipating a caution, but at a mile-long track like this, they're going to go down at least one lap. Chris Smith has come into the pits with them. We saw him in the 21 Wood Brothers car, but obviously Chris, a couple laps down here, not as much of a factor. We watch this battle here between Weimer and Brett Schneider, though, and Daniel Homer is getting passed by Joey Maines, about to make this a 3-way battle for a top 5 position.
Cody McCorkle has gotten passed by all 3 of these guys. So McCorkle falling back.
McCorkle falling back big time.
Daniel Homer managing to stand firm here in front of the 22 and the 12 here for the moment, at least. As you saw there on the graphic.
Starts to arc his corner as best as he can, but here comes Brett Schneider down to the inside.
Brett Schneider making his move.
Yeah, making his move indeed. He dove it in deep there. Now he's going to try the same thing, getting down to turns 1 and 2. How low does he go? Not as low as the yellow line allows him. He tries to hold that thing, but is very careful about not crossing it. We've seen how that's upset cars throughout the course of the day. Homer retains the position, gets clear. No! Fly job! Fly job!
Brett Schneider with one heck of a move once again. That's been his corner. That's been his move all race long, and he does it again.
Angel Hernandez into the pits.
Yep, Angel Hernandez.
Did
yep,
he
Angel
hit
Hernandez.
Too early before.
He might have done, because now we got to look and see if Daniel Homer decides to come into pit. That would certainly be the key. If Homer comes into pit, those guys went in way too early to be able to make it.
These guys have 60% fuel in comparison to a full fuel tank. Big time move down to the inside for Daniel Homer. Going to try to get as many spots, or
yeah, no, I think that's
as he comes into the pits. Daniel Homer down to pit speed. Shouldn't be a speeding penalty there, but I tell you what, man, 60 laps was the longest run we've seen anybody do. Now we've got an 80-lap final stage. We're starting to see what these guys can and can't do with their cars. Joey Burgee, Tristan Bailey have 62 and 58 laps to go, respectively, on their tanks of gas and tires if they were to try to make it. Frank, this is where the strategy really splits.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the way Tristan Bailey dominated this race, you'd be forgiven if you thought that he would be the man to beat here in this final stage. It's one stage one, one stage two. In dominating fashion, leading a vast majority of the laps in both of those stages. All of them in stage one, as a matter of fact. Joey Burgee is waltzing away from him right now in that 48. Burgee en route to his first win, it would appear. Right now, 6.5 seconds clear. He was 2 seconds clear when they came out of the pits.
Yeah, Joey, obviously the sub for the normal Chris Otto, who's in that 48 car, out here putting on an incredible run as he increases that gap to the car behind him. Is 6.3, 6.4 seconds right now to Tristan Bailey, who has a couple of lap pressure tires. With all this traffic and everything going on, things might equal out a lot sooner than we anticipated. 48 gets around the 38, puts him down yet another lap, and here comes Brett Schneider out of the pit.
Franz Brett Schneider deciding to pit as Joey Burgee out in front. In that battle that we were watching for the most part earlier on, there's Christian Delgado. Delgado right now is in the best spot. He is the first car that is not on the lead lap. So Christian Delgado at the moment, running in fifth, is not in a bad spot at all. You can hear just how long now these guys are having to let the car roll through 1 and 2.
Delgado, he locked himself in after the first stage. The second stage concluded and nobody else around him was able to gain points. He feels pretty good about this thing. Sitting in fifth place, a lap down. It's got to be an odd feeling.
Yeah. As Delgado, at the moment, Delgado is doing something that we've not seen any other drivers do, and this might be a fuel-saving tactic. Staying in fifth gear, he's getting down to about 5,000 RPM through these corners, which typically you'd be downshifting into fourth gear at some point, but if he thinks he's close on fuel, he's going to try to save as much as possible. Well, it's also going to help keep those rears in line if he's not putting too much power down.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was about to bring up. How much are you saving on those rear tires by not downshifting, not giving them that extra turn, not sliding the tires as much by staying in fifth gear, at least on the rear end, but you're losing a little bit on the front end. So how much of an advantage is it to play it that way?
Jeff Weimer coming down pit road, surrendering the fourth position. So now it becomes a question of, do Burgee, Bailey, Britton, do they all have to pit again? So they all came in around the same time, the late 30s, early 40s. This race, if these guys do have to pit, this race might fall to Angel Hernandez, who came into pit on lap 165. He's out in front right now. Brian Chu would be in second with Marcus Hagman. There he is in third.
Angel Hernandez came in here second in points. He's locked in with multiple wins, trying to increase that gap, get some more playoff points getting up into this thing. He's got a lot of a gap to overcome right now, though, as it's just over 4 seconds between him and Joey Burgee. But I tell you what, with less lap cars between them, that gives the 45 a little bit cleaner air to try to run his line and continue to drop that gap. We've got just over 23, or currently 23 laps to go, and a 4.3 second gap between first and second. At the rate we're going right now, Tristan Bailey being a tenth of a second faster than your race leader, it's not going to be enough. So Tristan's going to have to push a little bit harder on those 2-lap pressure tires to try to make this happen. As I say that, though, the gap drops below 4 seconds. Looks like Tristan's got himself a really strong turns 1 and 2. We'll see how it compares on the lap times through 3 and 4, though, as Joey Berge still holds on to the race lead over Tristan Bailey.
The last time we saw these two and pointed out the gap, it was up over 6 seconds. Now it's down under 4, so Bailey has certainly been making headway. And as we get down to 21 laps to go here, again, a lot of drivers using substitute drivers this week. Again, Chris Otto's usually the normal driver of this car that's out in the lead right now. Alexander Arilson, the normal driver for the 8. Tristan Bailey in this week. You've got, as we mentioned earlier, the 3 usually has Linus Broström in it. He's not in this car today. I'm sure guys wanting to watch the real race, which just a quick update on that with 20 laps to go. You haven't missed anything. Cars just rolled off a pit road. So, and that right there is going to be the last update we will give you on the real race. Just basically saying you're not going to miss too much if you're participating in the race today. The Xfinity race still has not yet gone green.
Meanwhile, we've been green for quite some time. These guys are pulling their strategies to the absolute limit. 3.5 seconds separates the race leader, Joey Berge, from Tristan Bailey. Tristan has been closing down on those 2-lap pressure tires. Is it going to be enough as we approach under 20 laps to go? He's going to have to be about 2/10 quicker each time. Last time around was not the case. See how these lap times continue to stack up.
Cody McCorkle and Daniel Holmer battling each other. This would be for the 8th position. And in just a moment, we are going to see something that we don't often see in Cup racing, anymore at least. Saw that car, you're watching William Britton right here. You saw that car at the top of the screen there, coming out of turn 2. Yeah, that one right there. That's the race leader. We're about to have 2 cars on the lead lap. That's it. Just 2.
Wow. Joey Berge, Tristan Bailey have put on an absolutely dominating performance here today. Obviously, we talked about Tristan Bailey. He won the first 2 stages of this race. But through pit cycles, Joey Berge was able to get himself a hefty gap. Now he's got a 4.3 second gap to try to maintain, keep that number 8 behind him. Right now we look at Angel Hernandez, who's under fire from Delgado. Delgado having himself a great race, started 12th, he's up to 5th place, and he also locked himself into the playoffs after stage number 1 here. So definitely a good day out of the 4. That 45 doing himself a good job, especially after spinning earlier on. Right?
Yeah, Delgado just got passed by that 45 a moment ago, side by side between Holmer and McCorkle. That will put Holmer up into the 8th spot. And the question really is going to be, my goodness, that's a pack of cars. The question really is going to be, is Berge going to have to pit? Is the 8 going to have to pit? Because if they do...
Oh, we've got a sideways machine. The 77 saves it. Sorry, keep going.
That was Rosa Laszlo there in the 77. And that was the first real possibility of us having a caution in quite some time. We've gone over 100 laps in this race, and remember how they got this big a lead. It wasn't just the pit cycle that the 48 and the 8 got out to this massive lead. It was the fact that they had come in under that last caution, got tires, got up through the field, got out front, and then ran away. They were 15 seconds clear by the time that first group came in. Back on lap 116.
You never know when the last pit stop under yellow is going to be, but I'm telling you what, that's definitely one you want to take. And with over 100 laps of green flag racing continuously, it is really tough to decide when that final caution pit stop is going to be. These guys are coming up to 11 laps to go. Joey Burgee down on the inside of number 6, William Britton, trying to put fourth place car one lap down. Britton gets in way deep there, slides up the racetrack. That's going to allow the 48 to get by and leave it just the podium on the lead lap. But I tell you what, Angel Hernandez, he's not too far up in front of that 48. How long is the podium able to stay on the lead lap?
Hernandez has gotten his lap back the hard way on Joey Burgee. Remember, Hernandez came in on lap 165, so he has up and gotten that lap back. There you see the last time that everyone was down pit road, at least everyone in the top 5. So Hernandez will not be, he's not in any danger of losing that lap.
He wants these guys up in front of him to run out of fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. As Burgee right now, not only holding on to the lead, but now he's started to extend it again. Tristan Bailey falling back. The gap was hovering just under 2 seconds. It's now just under 4 seconds, sorry. It's now up at 5 1/4. So that 8 car having a hard time all night long getting through traffic. Doing the same here.
Is he potentially trying to save? Is he worried about making it to the end?
Well, let's jump on board and find out, shall we? Take a look at the dash.
He does let off early, but he doesn't clutch it.
Yeah, he's not quite clutching it. He's not quite getting as low on the RPMs either as we saw the 4 doing before. As you see in the rearview mirror, that's the 2 of Weimer going around the outside.
He's easing through it, but doesn't seem to be egregious fuel saving, which is interesting.
Oh, yeah, no, he is. You heard how long it took for him to get back in the throttle there coming out of 2.
Well, I mean, comparison to Jeff Weimer, we're talking about Tristan Bailey, who last came in on 141. Jeff Weimer has much fresher tires having come in on lap 174.
Yeah, here, listen to when he goes full throttle. Right about there. So it's taken him a minute before he finally says, you know what, yeah, I kind of got to go here.
So we talk about his fuel saving situation. We talked about the gap being almost 5.5 seconds. Now it's 4.2 with less than 10 laps to go. We are approaching 5 laps to go here in the final race to make it into the playoffs. We're talking about Joe Burgee, who's in here in a sub formation or a sub situation, trying to take himself a win here, take the checkered flag. He doesn't care about the point situation at all. We've got 5 laps to go at the line and 4 seconds separating first and second.
Substitute drivers currently running in first and second right now. Angel Hernandez has pulled back about 4 seconds after getting his lap back, and you can see Burgee starting to let some drivers get their laps back. They are not in contention. He's running his own race right now.
How nervous are you if you're the 48? You know that Tristan behind you, who came in 2 laps later, saving a little bit. How nervous are you about making it to the end?
I won't be nervous until the car stops after the race is over. I'll be nervous even after I pass the start line with this one. Of course, you want the win. You've got such a big gap. But I've put in this much effort to try to fuel save and stay out. I'm not going to be happy until after this race is over.
It's been a tough task, and we are seeing the epitome of 2 different strategies come together. Tristan Bailey and Joey Burgee both pitted as late as they possibly could under green in the 3rd stage. Angel Hernandez in 3rd place, gaining massive time on these guys, but he's 19 seconds back as we approach 2 laps to go. It's going to be a tough ask for him. 3.3 seconds separate the top 2. Obviously, 2nd place is quicker right now, but is there going to be enough time for Tristan Bailey to take the third stage win after getting the first two?
On board here with Tristan Bailey, the car in front of the queue right now. That is Joey Burgee. Oh, Burgee's in the wall.
To hit the wall here, he's going to lose a little bit of time here, and is...
Oh, no, he's out. He is out. I believe he's out. He's down to about a second and a half the lead. Tristan Bailey.
Be it.
Tristan Bailey.
He's out. He's out. Here comes Tristan Bailey.
Yep, Bailey coming down the back straightaway. It looked lost, but Tristan Bailey has enough fuel left in the tank. Comes off of turn number 4. He will sweep the day here at Phoenix. Wow.
2 laps saved his day. What a finish here at Phoenix. A fuel mileage race kind of brings us back to the old days, and a heartbreaker for Joey Burgee coming in here in substitution, I believe, for Chris Otto. Unable to take home that race win, but I tell you what, that 8 car, he's able to stay underpowered to get back to the finish line. That 2 laps really did save him. Let's see how long he can burn it down.
See, and that's exactly why I said I will not be happy until after the race is over, because something like that possibly happening. And unfortunately for Joey Burgee, fortunately he only loses the 1 spot. But still, that is not a fun way to lose this race. As right now we will look at trying to get some of the drivers in here. Right now we'll start with the bottom. We'll go from bottom to top here. Liam, you are with our 3rd place finisher and last car to finish on the lead lap here tonight. That would be Angel Hernandez.
Angel, it's Liam and Frank up in the booth. You got a copy.
Yeah, I got yours.
Well, I tell you what, it was an up and down day for you, to say the least. You wound up in a position to race for 3rd place, the final car on the lead lap. Kind of walk us through your day between the first 2 stages.
The first stage was good. I think we were up there with a car running but right behind them, and then as the run went on, I just got a little bit too loose and I ended up losing some time. And then second stage is where everything kind of fell apart for a bit. Incidents happened, and I forgot where I finished, but obviously it wasn't near the leader, and then the pitch strategy just fell into play.
Obviously, through that second stage, you got turned around, didn't get the caution, but you were able to put on a strong recovery in stage number 3. What was the strategy there, or was it just kind of go as fast as you can?
I think it was just trying to pretty much, yeah, just go as fast as I could, but at the same time kind of try and make these tires last until whatever target it was. So obviously they pitted 20 laps after, so they were able to make to the finish with a little bit of saving, and I had to just kind of take care of my tires, and at the end they're just running as much as I got.
But you had a super strong truck here, or car, sorry. You had a super strong car here all throughout the day. Come home 3rd. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to, give thanks to before we let you go?
Yeah, Josh was there first 2 stages, and then Michael was helping out the whole entire time.
Well, awesome stuff, Angel. Congratulations on the podium finish. We'll hopefully be talking to you next week.
All right, thanks.
So now we will go to our 2nd place finisher here tonight, Joey Burgee. And Joey, boy, I know you're going for the win. You just needed a mile extra fuel.
Yeah, it is what it is. I knew I wasn't going to make it. I still tried. It's whatever. I'm honestly just glad that if I had to lose to anybody, I'm glad it was Tristan. He deserved it just as much as I did. He ran a perfect race. I botched the strategy up and just came out one spot short, but I got second, so that's all I really care about.
How difficult was it getting around this racetrack, or more so through the field? Because you had to, after that pit stop on lap 82, you had to work your way through the field quite a bit before you got out to that comfortable gap that you and Tristan were able to build. Uh, what was it like getting through the field here today?
It was actually a lot of fun. I had a very fun time driving on the track. I think everybody was racing very respectfully. Um, Everybody got out of the way that needed to get out of the way that weren't racing for position. So I can't really complain about the on track. I'm just honestly glad I was able to get out with minimal damage because I hit the wall a few times, but glad I didn't get into anybody else's mess and kind of went through pretty cleanly. And then when the final caution came out, I thought it was going to be perfect for me. It was good for my strategy. I took tires and ended up in a prime position, and then I wasn't even expecting to get out to that far of a lead. I was just trying to maintain the gap when we first came out. And I actually looked at the relative. I saw we were like 5 seconds away. I was like, "Holy crap!" I wasn't expecting to get away that fast. But it was fun. It was a very fun race for me. Definitely learned a lot. Getting used to this next gen car. I don't race it very often, so to be able to even finish second in this race, let alone be in prime position to win the race, I really can't complain. It's gonna hurt thinking about it in the future, but for right now, it's whatever. I'm just honestly glad I got away with it.
Got Iowa coming up next week. We know you're a sub driver. We know that you're in for Chris Otto today. Any plans on running Iowa next week? And if so, what are your thoughts about it?
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Iowa's not really one of my favorite tracks, so I'm not really 100% sure. But whoever I substitute in for, I'll try to put them in a very prime position, just like I did tonight. It doesn't matter what car I'm driving, doesn't matter who I'm allianced with, doesn't matter whoever my teammates are, it doesn't matter any of that. As long as I can get the car into a prime position to be able to get good points, if they even are an offer for sub drivers, then I'm going to try my best, and I want to put that car up in the front if I can, and show them that just because I'm a sub doesn't mean I'm not going to try and go for wins. So we'll see what happens. Not really 100% sure if I'm going to race Iowa, but if I do end up in Iowa, hopefully we'll be in hopefully we'll be one spot higher next time.
Love the attitude. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Obviously, I gotta shout out Tristan. Like I said, I'm glad that I lost to him. If I had to lose to anybody, I would rather it have been him. He deserved it just as much as I did. I think Joey Maines, James Bowler, both of them guys were helping me throughout the race. I got to thank Rhea for putting the show on. I got to thank all the admins for putting the show on. It was a very fun event. Loved the green flag runs, and just like I said, hopefully we'll be able to get back next time and be able to get one spot higher and be able to give whatever car I'm subbing a very good run.
Your second place finisher tonight, Joey Burgee. Bud, congratulations.
Thank you.
And now, Liam, you're with the man of the hour. That would be the pilot of the number 8 machine, Tristan Bailey.
Well, Tristan, well, I'd like to say it didn't come easy, but through stages 1 and 2, you had this field on lock. Kind of walk us through what you had going on in these first 2 stages and the pit strategy without the caution coming out with the stage break.
Well, the plan was just to run it dry all the way because you could do close to 60 laps on a tank of fuel. So I was just gonna end up just going dry, and with the tire sets we had, we could pit every 40 laps, but with the fuel, you could run about 60. So I did the math. It's better to do every 60 laps to pit than try to short pit. So that's what my plan was going to. But then when that other caution came out, and I pitted, and a couple people in the top 5 didn't pit. I was like, well, it's either gonna end up bite me in the butt or it's gonna be perfect, and it ended up just barely being perfect.
You made the pit stop on lap number 141. We saw Joey Burgee just in front of you for most of that run, pitted 2 laps before you. How worried were you that he was going to be able to make it to the end? And how worried were you about your own fuel situation?
I mean, I didn't even think I was gonna make it, and I looked after doing a couple laps in only fifth gear. Um, I seen that I was gonna end up just having enough. I ended up actually having 1 lap extra at the end, so I guess I saved too much. I should have pushed it a little sooner, but I didn't think he was gonna make it. But then it came down like 3 to go. I'm like, well, I guess he made it. That's way better fuel saving than I can. I mean, I'm not that good at it. And that's why I was hoping. I don't like when races come down to fuel strategy like that. But I mean, it puts a race on for people who's broadcasting and people that's watching. So
Well, you mentioned you don't like races that come down to fuel economy, but that white flag comes out. You're not in the race lead, but you come back to the checkers in the race lead. Kind of walk us through those last couple of laps.
well, when it got 2 to go, I looked at my fuel. I was like, you know what? If I run out, I run out. So I put it back in fourth gear and I started just cranking out the laps I was doing before that last run. And then all of a sudden I seen him getting closer and closer. I'm like, is he running out? I thought he could make it. And coming out of 2, I seen him slow on the inside. Like, oh, he ran out of fuel. Holy crap!
Tell you what, man, it worked out for you. You come in here in a subbing type of role, but you come out here with the checkered flag. Is there anybody you want to thank or give a shout out to before we let you go?
Thanks to Rhea for letting me run tonight. Cause I last minute was able to run, so I ran to help whoever drives the 8 normally, because he's at the Phoenix race this weekend. So just thank her, and thanks for everybody being a clean race. It was really clean for the most part. A couple cautions to start, but I mean, we all kind of got spread out and doing our own thing, and ended up being a long green flag run there at the end.
Definitely a long green flag run that worked out for you. We appreciate you joining us here in the booth, and hopefully we'll talk to you again next week. You got any plans for next week?
My wife works, so I don't know if I'll be able to race because I watch my daughter. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
Sounds good. Well, we hope to see you, but we definitely understand if we don't. That was your race winner, Kristen Bailey.
So that will wrap it up here for us. And a fuel mileage race is always a lot of fun for us to watch here. It was certainly a surprise to see the 48 run out. We both thought he had it pretty well locked down as well. But one thing you don't usually see in league races, unless you end up in a situation like what we were in tonight with the human admins and not relying on the iRacing cautions, that race went 120 laps to the finish. Only 3 cautions here tonight, all happening within the first 80 laps, 2 of them happening within the first 10. This was a fantastic night for racing.
It certainly was. I mean, we've got a couple of early quick cautions, things to kind of jumble up the field, but we really quickly got into a strategy type of game, and obviously that came into fruition with Joey Burgee running out of fuel on the last lap, giving Tristan Bailey the chance to sweep all 3 stages. I tell you what, man, I'm a sucker for fuel mileage finishes, and that one really got me going.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic race here tonight. And so that will wrap it up, at least for the regular season. With the way everything looks at the moment, all of the drivers that were in to start the race are in now.
You are correct, yes. Haroldson, obviously everybody with a win locked in, but Michael Iskandar made it in. Rhea Ferris, Christian Delgado, we already talked about, and Jerry Parker locked in after stage 1. Chris Van Maastricht, first one to miss. Tough break for him.
There was a note, I will say, I don't remember where I saw it. There was a note, I believe, on Parker. I think it was something. I've misplaced where it was now. But I believe the note was something along the lines of if Parker does not make it next week, he will end up surrendering his spot to the first driver that didn't make it in on points. So we could watch for that as well. But again, all of the drivers, which in that case would be Chris Van Maastricht. So all of the drivers that were in at the start of the day are in now and will be racing for a championship starting next week. The next 6 races: Iowa, Chicago, Atlanta, Auto Club, Talladega, and Kentucky. Go through those races.
Is that Chicago Land or Chicago Street?
No, Chicagoland. So you go through those races. We'll determine a championship on the 16th of December. But before we get there, we will take a look at the results here for tonight's race. Tristan Bailey, your race winner here tonight in just his second start with the iSNF Cup Series. Joey Berge was very close to getting his first win. Unfortunately, the fuel tank did not hold out. He finishes second. Angel Hernandez comes home in third, with Berge running out of fuel that did allow Brian Chu, Marcus Hagman, and William Britton, who were already ahead of Tristan Bailey, to get back on the lead lap. So the top 6 finish on the lead lap here tonight. Christian Delgado, Daniel Holmer, Cody McCorkle, and Franz Brettschneider round out the top 10. Eduardo Carapato, Chris Smith, Steven Sear, Jeff Weimer, Bob Wyckoff, your top 15. Rosa Laszlo, Rhea Ferris, Chris Van Maastricht, Joey Maines, Michael Iskander to 20th. Casey Tomlinson, Nathan Christensen, Shane Griffin, Brian Treadwell, the last of the drivers to finish the race. James Bowles, Charles Robertson, Michael Gervey, Matt Metler, Joshua Grosso, Matt Moniak, and Tony Edwards. The DNFs here tonight: Jackson Carr and James Vining not making the start here this evening. So that will wrap things up here from Phoenix Raceway in Avondale, Arizona. For my broadcast partner, Liam Irving, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you next week from Iowa Speedway. Until then, remember, as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.